Did you think I was doing something else? Heh. Hey everybody, welcome to MaffmanJones Movie Reviews. I'm your host, John Maffio, and today's featured movie is Ghostbusters. Answer the call. Ghostbusters 2016. Ghostbusters, the female version. It's the new Ghostbusters movie. It stars Melissa McCarthy, Kristen Wiig, Kate McKinnon, and Leslie Jones as our lead Ghostbusters. It's directed by Paul Feig, who's directed a lot of big comedies over the last few years, and the story is basically what you would expect when you see a Ghostbusters movie. 4 people team up to capture ghosts as they try to wreak havoc on the city of New York, and we have a villain in there somewhere. God, you can't even get into the history of the criticism, the backlash, the hatred for this new installment in the Ghostbusters franchise, because it would take up a whole video, it could take up a whole podcast, it could take up a book. It's really captivating. It's insane. I'm not going to get into it, but I was on the side that leant toward the idea that Ghostbusters 2016 would not be a good movie, because the trailers were pretty bad. I'm not even going to tease you guys, I'm just going to get right to it. It's not that bad. It's pretty decent. It's okay. Is it a good movie? I don't think so. Is it a bad movie, though? No, it's mediocre. It's a pointless reboot. It does nothing for Ghostbusters or film in general besides giving the Ghostbusters lure and this generation of moviegoers 4 new lead Ghostbusters characters who all happen to be female. And let me say right now, the best part of the movie are the characters. All 4 actors come to play. Their chemistry together is great. There are some really funny moments, some really funny quirks, some really funny nuances, lines of dialogue. There are some really special things in this movie that you could walk out remembering. My favorite character was Kate McKinnon's character, Holtzman. She was a wacky cartoon, but she ultimately, at the end of the day, when I walked out of the theater, I remembered her the most. When everybody seemed to be a little too grounded, she would bring things up to 11 in terms of insanity. Leslie Jones, they didn't play up her crazy factor as they looked to do in the trailers. She actually is a pretty decent and grounded character in this movie. I do think they restrained on Wiig and McCarthy in terms of their comedic stretch, because normally the 2 of them are like wacky and crazy too, like Holtzman was in this movie, played by Kate McKinnon. Like, if you've seen SNL for Wiig, or if you've seen prior movies for McCarthy, you know they both are really out there with their comedy. But in this movie, they're the most realistic human characters out of the 4, besides Jones. Chris Hemsworth as the receptionist is great. He's dumb as rocks. But ultimately, seeing Chris Hemsworth portray a character who can't put 2 and 2 together, literally 2 plus 2, he was really good. And he really bounces off well with the Ghostbusters team. I also really enjoyed the visual aspect of this movie in terms of the ghosts. I actually liked that they were kind of like Scooby-Doo looking, that they kind of were transparent and they were blue, but you could see like that they were real people. The ending fight sequence in New York City, how the Ghostbusters extinguish the ghosts and take care of business, how they bust the ghosts, I really enjoyed all of it. Was it a 3rd act climax we've seen in 1,000 other movies before, especially in the last few years? Absolutely. But I still enjoyed it. It was well done. And this is where I stopped talking positively about Ghostbusters 2016. Like, the cameos from the original Ghostbusters were bad. Pointless. It's like the movie would literally halt. The story would take a little, like a so we could like just take in the cameo. The story and plot of the movie is very by the numbers. It's generic. It's bland. It's nothing new. Again, it offers nothing new to the table. The only thing that offers anything new to the table is the idea of this new female Ghostbusters team, these 4 lead characters. The story is really bad. It starts off and it kind of just does what you'd expect it to do. It shows how the Ghostbusters get together. It shows them doing their thing. It's almost a carbon copy of the original movie. Almost. But in comparison to reboots that have come out in the last couple of years, that have done similar things with their story as well, I don't see the heart in this movie. And I know Paul Feig is a really fine director. He's great when it comes to comedy, and he's made some really good movies in the past. I don't think it's his fault. He tried the best he could. He added some of his own flavor into the movie. I saw it, totally not segueing into this, but the villain of this movie. His name is Rowan, I think. Rowan. One of the worst villains in recent memory of any movie I've seen in my life. It felt like he was in a different movie than everybody else. He was like doing his own thing, this really sensationalized Broadway acting. This villain had a plan. This villain had an agenda. This villain has a backstory. But the agenda, the plan, the backstory, it's all so poorly executed. And then when shit hits the fan and the villain actually does things to create chaos in New York City, it's just dumb. It's really dumb. Although there is one moment between Leslie Jones and the villain that is a lot of fun. One brief moment. But other than that, I thought the villain was absolutely horrid. Ghostbusters Answer the Call. I think that's the official title. Like, that's what they called it in the credits after the movie was over. It's just ultimately forgettable. It's a bland movie. It's not bad, though. The criticism that it's been receiving for the past few months due to the trailers, it's rightfully justified. But otherwise, it's not. It's an okay movie. I would watch it again if it was on cable. If I was forced to watch it because friends wanted to see it or something, I wouldn't mind it. It's not a sexist thing. It's not a racist thing. It's just a movie thing. The movie wasn't good. The actors in the movie are all great. Unfortunately, they could not make the movie better because just the story, the screenplay, the plot, it's all terrible. But the movie is fun enough watching these 4 lead actresses kick ass. It is. So, having said that, I'm going to give Ghostbusters 2016 a 2.5 out of 5 stars. But now I want to know from you guys. What did you think of the new Ghostbusters movie? Let me know in the comments down below. But if you also want to have some fun, let's make our own Ghostbusters team. Make your own female or male Ghostbusters team from actors of the past, present, or future down below. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and check out my social medias in the info box. I'm John Maffio, aka MaffmanJones, and I'll see you guys next time. Buster makes me feel good.